Aloha ahi ahi kako, omako ko inoa, no o ahu mayau, born and raised on this island. I've been a cast member for over 12 years here. My role is as an entertainer when I'm not doing all of our shows. I get to relax and do my favorite thing, which is to give our tours too. But right now, we are in the center of our makaʻala. So in Hawaiian, makaʻala means eyes wide open, alert, and vigilant. Because there's so many artworks, so many stories waiting to be told. And as soon as you enter our makaʻala, it just strives to touch all of your senses. Immediately you'll see all the vibrant colors in our beautiful art pieces. You feel that nice breeze that flows down the Waianae Mountains through our makaʻala. And you hear our olelo, our language in our music. Now this music was done by Ke'ali'i Rachel, a very popular musician here in the Hawaiian Islands, and he made this music specifically for this resort. As you're listening to all the music around the resort, actually you might hear some familiar songs like Beauty and the Beast or Enchanted. All these classic Disney songs have been redone in Hawaiian. You guys heard any of it? Yeah, so keep your ears open. You might hear one of your favorite Disney songs as well. But this song that's playing, this is entitled Hele no Aulani, and this welcomes our Disney guests into our Ohana Aulani. If you kind of sit and listen to the mele, you'll notice the words are written all around us. You can see it here into this mural. This will be our first art piece that we're going to talk about today. Now this mural is about 200 linear feet. This was painted by Uncle Martin Charlot. Now it's very unusual. It's actually a circular mural, just like a lei. So as a lei embraces you, so does our stories and our culture. Now there's a lot of details here, so I'm going to break it down just a little bit. So as we're facing here, you notice all the artwork, all the paintings and the stories is depicting our mauka. So ho'opili repeat after me, mauka. Good, because right at these doors is the view of the Waianae Mountains, and that's what's painted here into the mural. As you make your way all the way down to the opposite side, it starts to transform into the Makaʻikaʻi side. Ho'opili Makaʻikaʻi. Good, you understand Hawaiian already? Yes, this is our ocean side. As we're facing out towards the Makaʻikaʻi, you'll see painted into the mural is of our oceans. What we like to say, as we're looking at the Mauka side, it is talking about the birth of our islands, Hawaii's past, the birth of our ali'i, the birth of our monarchy. As it starts to transform into Hawaii's present, looking into the sun, I always like to say looking into the future. Now actually our resort isn't based off of just these two themes, we have 4 themes. So, now on my left side and my right side are our last 2 themes. Now taking a look at the artwork, does anyone have a guess what these last 2 themes are? Or maybe you learned it when you checked in. Or not?
Valley?
Valley?
Oh.
He mentioned it earlier.
I did. So this side, actually behind me, this is known as our Hina side. On the Hina side, you see all the women.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to our Hu side, you see all the Kane, all the males. And in it is talking about all the duties that they were in charge of. So our Kane, they did all the construction, the hunting, the gathering, caring for their elders. One of my favorite stories is here in this corner. These hunters are known as the Kia'i Manu. And they are hunters hunting for that I'iwi bird. Now, in order to capture this red bird, they would put breadfruit sap right next to the blossom so that when the bird would fly in, they would land and their feet would get stuck. Then they would go in, pluck the birds off, and clean their feet off with kukui nut oil, and put their feathers right under their wings for their nice glossy textures. And they would release the birds back into the sky. All the feathers that they collected were used to create things just like this. So come to the closer. Now, does anyone have a guess what these are used for? Very good, yes. So these are called pa'alima, and these are scepters held by the kings and queens. Now the reason why only kings and queens could carry feathers is because birds flew highest in the sky, treading closer to the gods. So King Kamehameha, he's known for his entire garments, from from these yellow feathers and these red feathers to adorn his helmet, as well as his entire cape made out of these feathers. If you folks ever get a chance to go to Honolulu at the Bishop Museum, you'll see beautiful, huge capes made out of these two feathers here. But you'll see these kahili pa'alima on either side of the entrance of our maka'ala. So I think the reason why they're planted here is so that when our guests are arriving, you are treated like royalty as well. But now in the opposite corners of the maka'ala, with the red sash coming down, you'll see we have even larger ones with the red, black, and white feathers. These are called kahili. Now these are actually made by our Disney cast members with our Disney Imagineers. These two were made in honor of two of our Disney friends. Or if you take a look at the colors, these are from Makaʻikaʻi. So they get really tall ones. So, as we're looking here into the mural, down this hall, in this entire tower, we'll only see artwork of the kane, the males. Here in the mural, down this hall, in this entire tower, we'll only see artwork of the wahine, of the women. And it's this ideal of balance between masculine and feminine energy. So we're going to keep talking about not just these two things, but these four things. Again, we have our Maka, Makaʻikaʻi, this is our Ku,
and Hina.
Hina, good. We'll test you. Let's go to our Hina side. That's what these wahine are doing. They're building their capes, they're building their helmets. And actually that's what he's wearing around his shoulders. So now our wahine, they cared for our keiki, all the feather working, teaching the art form of hula, and this woman here in the blue making kapa. Now kapa is the bark of the wauke tree. And what they would do, they would strip the tree of the bark, and they would soak that bark into water. Then using her kuku or her mallet, she begins to pound that tree bark as much as she can. Turn it around, soak it in water, and keep pounding that tree bark until that bark slowly began to expand. From really thin, really flowy, and that's what they use to wrap for themselves for clothing. So all the Hawaiians will be wearing tree bark from walking. Actually, her mallet that's in her hand is actually what's used to create all of our columns across the lobby as well. Actually, you can see where they would rest up here where it's textured. So when you pound that tree bark, it gets nice and soft. Because if you don't make it well enough and you wear your kapa, it'll be very itchy. So that'll be nice and soft to wear. A very time-intensive project. Now, once they have a nice piece of kapa cloth or fabric, they'll print different designs in it to really tell a story. All these designs you'll see is actually all across the resort as well. One of our kapa masters, all of her designs are also embedded into the carpets, into the wallpaper, as well as into our windows. And as we're looking at these kapa designs, you see these triangle peaks. Does anyone have a guess what these represent? Yes.
Mauka.
We're on the Mauka side. Our views of the mountains, that's what they are representing. And you guessed it, if you look on the opposite side, you see the wavy line, that coral print, and that spiny skeleton print representing the sky, the ocean. You see the windows on this side are a little bit more cooler with these blues and these turquoise. On this side, it's a little bit more warmer with these tans and these mossy greens. But what I think are most fascinating about our window, the way that they're cut, positioned, and set with glass prisms. Whenever we have a nice rainfall coming down on Mauka, by with the right amount of sun, here in the maka'ala, we'll see a beautiful underwood, a beautiful rainbow breeze. Well, hopefully it doesn't rain anything. But if it does, and especially in the afternoon, you'll see these beautiful, vibrant colors shooting out of it. Well, speaking of underwood, we're going to head down to our pool side. We're going to look at one of my favorite art pieces.
Okay.
I'm sure you folks have already been here. Have you folks found the story behind this art piece? Well, this is our Anuenue. This is our rainbow wall. There's 138 photos here. Each photo is representing a color of the Anuenue. But every single one of these photos have been taken by our very own keiki, our children of Hawaii. So their task was to focus on one single color and find something that truly represents Hawaii to them. Their favorite flower, their favorite fruit, even their favorite dish to watch sunrise. But of course, when you take to our keiki, you might find a lot of it actually does snow on the Big Island, but not enough to go skiing. But during the winter, it does get pretty cold here. It can get like 65 degrees. We'll head to the beach and we'll make sandman. So this not only talks about the heart of Hawaii, but the heart of our keiki as well. And I love this art piece. Now below, you see our beautiful front desk made out of this wood. Does anyone have a guess what kind of wood this is? One of the most beautiful woods here you'll find in Hawaii.
Koa?
This is koa, yes. The same wood they would use to make their va'a, their canoes with. Actually, these are refurbished koa pieces. It's actually illegal for anyone to chop down these trees now. You can actually see where they were notched together with these little bow ties. And you might have seen these symbols across the resort as well. You might see it in maybe your front door, or your cabinets, or your headboard. Yeah, so what the master woodworker would do, in order to bring two different woods together, he would carve out these little peva, or these fishtails, and he would notch it together, kind of as a symbol of unification. So just how the Hawaiian culture and the Disney culture come together to form Aulani. And you might see koa in the gift store. That's an expensive stuff. But as we know, koa, again, being a resource for the canoes, we know canoes are a huge symbol for the Hawaiian people as a way to connect all of our island, or connect the Hawaiian people. They would use it for their adventure as they go off and discover and find new lands. I think that's why when our guests check in here, they begin their adventure with koa as well. And you'll see all across the resort, all of our canoes line the very ends of our hale, or the houses, also known as our gutters. But you'll see that very unique shape of the canoe just like this. Now this is a fun room when everyone is trying to check in, our cake here, able to come in here, watch some Disney Channel, see some hula implements, even some Mickey Mouses up there. Actually, has anyone found any hidden Mickeys during your stay? Again, as we're looking around the resort, we'll see all those kappa designs. I know it's a little different from what you're traditionally looking for. The reason being is that they look just like this. Now again, you'll see these more angular shapes of our hidden Mickeys. Again, they represent the patterns in traditional kappa designs. So like I said, you'll see them in the carpets, in the wallpapers. You go back to your room and see how many you can find. Also, you'll see all of our art pieces are enchanted. You'll see our ali'i at different times of the day. This will actually come to life. Our voyagers, they're done sailing, and they'll sail back to the shoreline. Our ali'i would turn back to their homes, and you see our surfers moving across the ocean, as well as the night sky. Also, right at the height of our keiki, you see in our papa hi'inalu in each surfboard, they'll peek inside each one, and they'll find something really cool. Alright, go ahead, tell us what you see. Cool, a snorkeler. What do you see in yours?
Shark.
A shark. Oh my goodness, one snorkeler.
Can you check? I can't do
But
that.
also in this room, you'll see our menehune. How many folks know who our menehune are?
Fairies.
Our menehune, they're known for being the first inhabitants of this island. And they live up in the mauka, and they only come out at nighttime to help people or to cause mischief. That's why we named the valley after them, the Waikoloha Valley, because they're everywhere. Has anyone seen any? Cool, what's one of your favorite ones that you found?
The elevator.
Oh, the elevator, that's a good one. I don't see them all the time in the elevator. Yeah, but you'll see them, hiding up in the ceiling, hiding in the kupu ferns, above the front desk. No one knows for sure how many there are, but there's over 300 menehune to look for, and they're everywhere. At nighttime is when they're most active, so as you're walking around in the valley, you might hear them giggling in the bushes. Careful, be known as tricksters. Something might happen. Be careful. Before we leave this room, we'll see all of our EA kuku, all of our cup mallets, our beaters. You'll see, I know we had talked a little bit later about the lauhala tree. We talked about in our nature tour about the papale. Beautiful hats here in Hawaii. These could be over thousands of dollars. On this side, you see a lot of different lei from, again, our feather leis. We know that these lei are actually worn by our li'i. You see kukui nuts, some seeds, kamani nut, a lot of our, this is the puke'e, and also this instrument. Now this instrument is very interesting. It's called the ohe hano ihu. So ohe means bamboo, hano ihu. Does anyone have a guess what we use to play this? Does anyone knows what we use?
Your nose?
Our nose, very good. This is our nose flute. Now the reason why the Hawaiians would use this flute for their nose, they would use it in courtships. So they would use its melodious sound to help lure the women. But they believed that the air that came out of your nose was the purest form of air that came out of you. And then the air that you use for your mouth might be affected by any of the negative things you may say or the lies. Any of the air that came out of anywhere else was gross. So they would use it to courtship. So guys, the best way to a woman's heart is through your nose. If you can practice that instrument, if you can get that right, there's only 3 notes on it. Now before we leave our ku side, since we're on the male side, we see 2 of our male gods. Up here, this is Kane and Kanaloa. Kane is the god of fresh water. Kanaloa is the god of salt water or ocean. And they are brothers. In this mural, it's depicting their journey to dig and find fresh water. Now all the way down to our Hina side, you'll see 2 of our female goddesses. We'll get a little closer to her, but I feel like you already know who she is.
Yeah.
What's carved into your door? Take a closer look at it again. You will see some sea creatures. Now I know they already know the answer. Now what's carved into your door? If you're here in the Waianae Tower.
We were like earlier. Like, what?
And none of you guessed here? Not quite. So all the rooms on this side, if you go back to your room, you'll take a look, you'll see actually 4 hidden Mickeys into it, and you'll see the iwi bird sitting on the ohia trees. Now when you go back to your room, all the rooms on this side are themed after the Makaʻikaʻi, and you'll see fish. So as you're entering your Waianae Tower, that full picture you'll find on your door is actually carved right above you as you're entering the Waianae side. For you folks, when you go back, you will see this full picture on your door. What's carved into your door is that little fish here on the left-hand side, and that is our state fish. By chance you folks know the name of our state fish?
I only got L.
Wow, high five! How did you know that?
I've heard that before.
Oh, is it
You've been
H?
practicing your whole life to answer that question.
Something.
Oh,
If you ever
okay.
do get a chance to go see what's on their door, carved into it, you'll see a couple fish. It is our humu humu nuku nuku akua. It's our state fish.
It's like I never lived here.
When you get into the restroom, the name's there.
Oh, right. We finally made it to our Hina side. Now, actually, as we're entering this side, you'll see in the water, you'll see these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9 white stone crystals. Taking a look at the shapes of them, does anyone have a guess what they represent?
The islands?
Very good. Yes, we're on the Hina side. Now we know in our nature tour, Hina is goddess of the moon. These are 9 moon phases associated with Hina. Very good. You see the water on this side, it's a lot more still, it's a lot more calm. We're going with the nature of the wahine. On that side, you'll notice the water is a lot more rough, it's flowing down some rocks, giving a lot more texture, more rapid motion into the water. Right, actually, you can see more many Pinay hiding in this room. If we can find them all. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Pinay here. While you're looking at them all, we're going to look at this ma'a. It's actually a gift to us when we celebrated our 5th anniversary. Now, canoes are actually made out of one solid core tree. Now, what they would do, they would go up into the kuhibi and they would chop down that core tree that stands nice and tall. From that log, they would carve it out to create their ka'ele, or their palm. If at any time that tree was a little crooked or misshapen, and they chopped it down and they used it for their voyage, their voyages might make U-turns. So it had to be perfect, it had to be straight, just like this. Now because it is made out of one solid tree, you can see the shape looks just like this. They turn the entire va'a upside down to let all the water out. And they would store the upside down canoe in a halau va'a, a canoe house, exactly in the shape as our maka'ala. Or the same shape as the tops of the towers. And of course the same shape for our symbol for the resort. Alright, here's your pop quiz. What does Aulani mean?
Messenger of the God.
Messenger of the chief. Very
the
good.
chief, sorry.
Yes, messenger of the chief. Now they've learned this. Actually, that name was gifted to this resort by the caretakers of this land. So actually, Disney didn't name the resort. The locals did. And that name came to him in a dream, where all of us get our Hawaiian names from. So his name is Doug Tolentino. So Doug is actually also an artist. Before any of this was here, it was actually just pili grass and sugarcane fields. But Doug actually created a lot of pieces. He painted Kane and Kanaloa, as well as these next two female goddesses. Alright, did we find them all? Who gets fun? Like I mentioned, it's not until you get right at that point of our keiki and look in every little nook and cranny. If you ever find any of our keyholes on this side, like we saw on the other side, you'll see something really neat in them too. Would anyone like to take a peek? Take a look, or you can just tell us what you see.
I see another one. What's the village of them?
A village, there's a village in here. Or maybe you might see something different. Or what do you see?
Can you check?
Something's happening.
No.
Can you find any more keyholes? Now at the very top, you'll see two of our female goddesses. This is Helen. By chance, did anyone forget to
Yeah.
fire, lava, and volcanoes. Yes. So the story of Helen, she jumped into her va'a, into her canoe, when she was banished from her home. With her sister Iyaka, as well as her brother, they sailed across the Pacific Ocean looking for their next suitable home. It wasn't until they came to the Big Island where she was turned sick and she struck the ground and she found fire. And that's where she resides now, in the lava flows of the Big Island. Has anyone been to the Big Island? Cool, when did you guys go? Cool. What did you see the activity happening? Yes, that volcano has been active for over 80 years. But on the Big Island, that's the only island with active volcano. So that hot spot is on the southern end of the island. Each Hawaiian island was once located with the Big Island this big, because as soon as that eruption happened, that lava slowly began to build upon itself, creating our first island. So Ni'ihan Kauai, our first island, our smallest island, is about 5 million years old. As currents of the water push the islands off of the plates there, another eruption happened, creating our third island, our fourth island. So the hotspot is under the Big Island. What they have found, about 3,000 feet below sea level, is that another island is forming. So the lava slowly begins to build upon itself. They'll finally break the surface of the water, and that will be our ninth Hawaiian island. An island will be named Makaʻikaʻi. So in about 50,000 years, if you're around, invest in property. In the meantime, the ninth island, we call it Las Vegas.
Tell me something makes your math harder.
Two more details here. So as we talked about our kappa designs, so if you ever do get a chance to see all the kappa designs, all the colors, you'll see not represented in our carpets and our windows. You'll also see it represented in two of our wallpapers here. Now you notice our Hina side is different from our Pu side, but each side has 3 different levels. Each level is representing a layer of the physical world. So, on that first bottom level, you see those blue wavy lines, that spiny sea urchin print, that fishnet print, that is representing the Makaʻikaʻi, the ocean, where all life had started from. Up to the second level, you see those browns and those mossy greens, and even the animals running around. That is representing the Aina, or the land that we're on now. High into the sky is our lani, is our heavens. In the evening, you'll see Mahina, the moon, and in the morning, you'll see Pu in our sun. Now, as we shift our gaze all the way from the top, we're going to look right below us in our compass rose. Now, our compass rose isn't pointing to north, south, east, or west. These are pointing to our 4 themes. So, our 4 themes are Mauka,
Maka, Makai,
Makaʻikaʻi,
Hina,
Hina,
Hina, Uku,
Kan.
Uku,
Ku. Alright. Wow, these are pointing to those 4 themes. As it's pointing out to the Mauka, you see right by your vavai, that is actually wood from the Waianae Mountains.
Oh.
As this lau is pointing to this material found in the Makaʻikaʻi is coral. Now on each side you see 2 different lava rocks. This one is known as Pohoihoi. It's a more smooth and more softer lava rock, going with the soft nature of the Wahine. This one is known as A'a. It's a more rough, more porous lava rock, going with the rough nature of the Kane. Now actually these arrows or these leaves are known as a lau kalo. Another form of kalo is poi. Has anyone tried poi while you folks were here? Cool. How would you describe the taste of poi? Mushy, never mind. So poi is a little bit mushy, tasty, maybe a little bland, maybe an acquired taste, but it's actually one of our main staple foods here in Hawaii. As you're driving up the driveway, they grow in a lo'i kalo, and it's those heart-shaped leaves that you'll see coming up the driveway. But it kept the wines, healthy, strong, good-looking. So while you folks are here, eat more kalo. But in the center now is this bird, known as our iwa. This is a symbol of guidance for the Hawaiian people. Now, if at any time our voyagers were out at sea and lost or unsure how to return back home, they would always look in the sky for this bird, and they would call it for the goddess Kaiona. Kaiona! Kaiona would release her iwa into the night sky. As our voyagers are out at sea, they would look for the bird, and they would follow it back home. Because they know that this bird only makes its nest on the shores of Hawaii. So they're not going to end up in Tahiti or Japan. They're coming back to Hawaii. Oh boy, okay. I love to volunteer. I love to talk. Does anyone have any questions? There is magic all around Aulani. Like I was telling her too. If you believe, we can see anything happen here at Aulani. Here in the night sky is all of our constellations, and the constellation of the Iwa bird, one of the main constellations that Hawaiians would use in navigation. Any other questions?
Can you do that again?
One more.
So like I mentioned, unfortunately I just scraped the surface of what's hiding here in Aulani. If you folks ever come back to even the same tour, you'll meet Uncle, you'll meet one of my cousins, and they'll talk about their favorite art pieces, their favorite stories. But as you folks remember these 4 themes, which you guys have done really well at, as you folks continue your vacation outside, all these stories will start to reveal themselves to you, and there's so much waiting out there as well. But I did want to say a big mahalo nui loa. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes if anyone has any questions. I know you guys have dinner reservations. But I did want to say a big ahui ho until we meet again. Aloha, and have a magical time here in Aulani. Aloha.
Mahalo.